99 days of working on my short film learning After Effects. I feel like that's better in German. Anyway, welcome to day 99 of 100 Days of Animation. This is Illotalk. I am Cory Kerr, and today I'm going to draw a bee. Tomorrow's the last day we're doing this. It'll be kind of fun and sad. Yesterday was weird. Probably shouldn't record things and put them on the internet when I'm that tired. Not a great idea. Anyway, if you haven't watched that video, don't. It's weird. Ignore it. And let's move on, pretend it never happened. First, intro music. Okay, so I don't know how interesting this is, but I am going to record the first part of this live, and then I will switch over to kind of speeding it up, because I've never actually recorded how I set stuff up. So this is how I set stuff up. And since I'm doing it live, you will hear all the ums and hems and haws of me trying to figure stuff out. That's always fun. All right, so I've got to find the panel that has the bee in it. And so I've got all those in a folder down here. Okay, here's the bee. And that is not terribly detailed. And I don't have any context for where that bee is. Okay, so I can kind of make that up as I go along. And then I want to look at one of these is going to have a bee on it. Unless I didn't. Here we go. Bumblebee. Okay, so I am going to open that up. And opening that up, that will give me at least like this rough sketch. Stop. That's annoying. So this rough sketch here of the bee. And I don't need these. And for now, I don't need the blood. And so I'm just going to grab these guys and copy them over to Illustrator because we're working in vector. Ah, come on now. Okay, I'm going to cheat because I'm lazy and I don't want to bother doing this. So we're just going to screenshot. And that'll give us our rough. I'm going to throw that to the back. Okay, and I want to draw this fairly large. I'm not worried about resolution at this point with my bee. And I'm actually going to throw that to the top and just blend this. So let's just go to opacity and we'll go multiply. There we go. That way we can kind of see through both of those things. And then I've got some bee reference here. I'm going to look for kind of a bumblebee landing on a flower. I've already got this one. I like to move off of multiple. Oh, that's a good one of the wings. I like to go off of multiple sources because I am not interested in recreating somebody else's photograph, but I don't necessarily know just instinctively what everything looks like just off the top of my head. And so what I end up doing is I will sketch from a lot of different sources. And what that does is it gives kind of my vision of something as well as, so I'm trying to think and talk at the same time. It gives my vision of things as well as it's not copyright infringement for going after somebody else's image. And so that's a good way to do it. And I talked to this a lot in class. We talk about using references. And one of the things that I think is really important is that you use reference in a way that doesn't copy or break anybody else's copyright. As well, I'm not looking up, I didn't look for this. I didn't go bumblebee drawing, right? Because there's a number of problems with this, but one main problem is that all of these are somebody else's interpretation of those bumblebees. I'm going to draw this really fast. This is useful. And so let's get a new layer. We'll hide everything. All right. So here's my little theory on reference. I love reference. Okay. But I think you got to do it right. So let's draw a little picture here. We're going to get some browns. Maybe I should have done grays. Anyway, come down like this. Okay, so we have here the rock by which springs forth this fountain, right? And so this water like flows down the mountain. Okay, and then over here we've got like some cows kind of doing their cow thing. Cows have spots and udders. And then right here we've got kind of like a hillbilly dude, and he's bathing. We'll have him washing his armpits like that in the river, right? And then down the road a little bit more, we've got, you know, like, let's say we got like a factory. Let's take this whole thing and just shrink it just a touch. There we go. Okay, so here we've got like a factory that's like dumping stuff into the river. I'm going to change the color of the river at this point. La. Oh, there we go. La. Okay. There's like that, and then we'll come in here and we'll go like, add some of this action in here from the cow. Okay. All right. So the question that I ask is, if you had to drink out of this stream, this river, where would you drink? Right? Would you drink downstream here? Let me change colors again. Okay. Is this the best spot to drink? From dip your cup in the water right there. The problem with that is that somebody's been here, right? And they have affected the water. It has changed because of their presence. And sometimes not for the better. But in any case, it's not the pure water, right? Or are you going to go down here, right? We're still dealing in like all natural things. These are all things that, occur in nature. They're fine. They're normal, right? But I don't want to drink downstream of like a cow. Okay. That's a problem. Or are you going to do it over here, right? Where it's just super polluted. This is like your clip art and stuff. Okay. Any of those locations are all a no-go to get your water, and that is because they are not pure, right? And so the purest source of the water is going to be right here, right? And that's at the fountain, at the source of where that water comes from, okay? And so the best thing, if I'm drawing a bee, is to have a bee, right? Now this is a wasp, I realize, okay? But I bought this because photo reference is awesome, and I love it. But having something right in front of you is even better. And so if you can get the thing that you are drawing in the room with you, that's the source of that fountain, of that stream, right? And just a little bit from that source are unedited photos, which are super hard to find, right? But I'm talking about there's no manipulation to them. They haven't done anything to like change the forms. They haven't pushed the colors too much or anything like that. Photography. And just up from that, you've got, basic photography where people have taken it into Lightroom and things like that. And then you get further down the stream and you get illustrations that are like very good photorealistic illustrations. You go further and further and you get more distortion in the illustration. I love distortion, I love cartooning, and I love all of that. But I'm not going to use somebody else's work downstream here as a reference. And the reason for that is because it has changed, and I don't know, if I'm referencing downstream to try to figure out how something is so that I can make creative decisions with it, I don't know what decisions have already been made. I'm not exactly certain what they've already simplified, what they've already kept or exaggerated, what they've eliminated, what has stayed, what's gone, what's been mixed with other things, the mistakes that they've made, the improvements that they've made. I don't know any of those creative choices. And so there's just too much of other people's decisions in the water to go downstream. And so when I'm doing this, I don't search for, I mean, this is an excellent illustration there, but that is a straight up illustration, right? This is a great ink drawing. Okay. But just because somebody else's hand has touched it, it causes problems because, it's not as good as looking at a photograph. Now this has been touched up, right? That's probably Photoshop, or, you know, it's legit water painting or whatever. But if I look at something like this, these are shots of actual bees in motion, and I can start to see. Now, video is good for that as well. I can look at, there's a lot of YouTube videos that I've watched in slow motion to see like how they're moving and how they're doing things. You know, and you can see from different angles, like I can't look at an illustration and go, you know, how do the legs attach? Because some bugs, they're like right here. They all kind of converge at like one central location. And other insects, they come from the side, or they come out of the separation between the thorax and the abdomen, you know, and everything is a little bit different. And you can even look at different types of bumblebees and whatever. Anyway, so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing here, where I've got a bunch of different reference and I'm surrounding my board with it. And at some point in time, I'm going to get to where I don't want to look at the reference anymore, because I want it to become something that I am creating. And so at a certain point, I am going to turn those layers off, or throw them off to the side. And so you'll kind of see that happen as well. And so I do a little bit of organization here. I always name my reference photos ref, and I always name my pencils sketch. Okay, and then I'm going to lock both of those, and that means that I can't, you see that little no symbol, that means I can't do anything on those. And then I'm going to take, and I'm going to create an ink layer. Now, I'm not actually dealing in inks, obviously, but what I am doing is I'm going to come in and I'm going to create black outlines around everything, and kind of go from there. Another thing that I will often do at the beginning is I will begin my color palette. And so let me show you kind of what I do there with my color palette. So I want to get at least 3 tones, if not 5 tones of yellow there. I'm probably going to go with 3 in this case. And so, you know, you can kind of sample these, but I just like to mix them. And so I'm going to come in, I really like these. So I'm going to come in here like this and zoom in, and then I'm going to pull up my panel, and I'm going to change this color mode to HSB. And I like mixing in HSB because you deal in hue, so that's the color, and then you can increase or decrease the saturation and increase or decrease the brightness. I find this a ton easier than trying to mix colors as if they're paint, you know, or as if it's light or something like that. But HSB just seems like a significantly more logical way of doing color mixing. And I will often kind of jump in here and get like a head start on my color. I'll come in here like this and kind of adjust kind of visually where I'm at. Now I need it to be a little bit more yellow. Okay, and so I can just take this slider, and if you want more control, it used to happen. I guess not anymore. That's annoying. Okay. It changes all the time. All right. So I can take this and I can just slide this over a little bit. There we go. I want it to be a little bit brighter, and I want it to be a little bit more muted. And so I want this to just be a touch. I feel like that's really green. Okay, that's pretty good. And then here comes my trick, right? My trick is this, is I want to be able to have 3 values. And so what I do is, these are way too big. I'm gonna shrink these down, boom, like that. Okay, and my trick is I do blending. So I'm gonna grab this, and I'm gonna grab this, and I'm gonna go Object, I'm in Illustrator again, Object Blend Make, Object Blend Options. And I'm gonna go Specified Steps, and right now I'm gonna choose 2. I'll do 3 because I like having 5 options here. So we'll go 3. Okay, and now if I grab this square here and I go back and I can mix color in, you'll see that it gives me the steps in between. And I'm going to add a little bit of red. I'm going to brighten that up just a little bit. I want it to be pretty dark, but I don't want it to be orange. Actually, I don't want it to be muddy. I don't actually mind if it's orange. I'm seeing hints of orange and red on the edges there, and so I think there's a touch of red in there, so I can kind of do that. And then I'm going to brighten this up. This could be significantly brighter. So I'm going to take all the black out of that, and I'm going to just go to the right just a little bit. Okay. Okay, so now I have 5 values. And at any point in time, I can grab these and I can say, yeah, I'm going to do this. So one thing that I like to do is to kind of clear the deck here and get rid of all of my swatches. I'm not going to do that right now just because, let's see. Yeah, I'll keep those. Yes, don't ask me on everyone. There's got to be a way to do this better. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to delete everything. Okay. And then registration. I don't need that right now. No, don't do that. What the crap? I didn't realize I was doing that. Oh, that's super annoying. It was selected. I had the good color too. Okay, go back and mix my colors. It is very yellow. I just want a little bit of red mixed in. There we go. That's better. Now I'm going to deselect so I'm not ruining everything. Okay, and I'm going to grab this and I'm going to get rid of all of that. Boom. Like that. I'm actually going to get rid of this too. I don't need all those values right now. Okay, so I've got black, white. We don't need registration. I can't get rid of that. And then I'm going to add in a few other colors. And so let's go like this. And then I'm going to grab this color. And I believe I'm going to grab this one in the middle. Let's see if we want that one. And do I want this one? That one's good. And then I'm going to come off of these just in case. And I'm going to give myself like a super desaturated, very bright, as if it was like a specular highlight. Because I might need that. And then I'm going to give myself just off to the edge here like this. I'm going to go very dark. Very dark. Like that. Almost even darker. It's not actually black. Notice that I'm at like a 10%. It's not actually black. But that will tie all of that in together a lot better. Okay, so I've got wing. I don't know if I'm going to do the white. Let's see what's going on with everybody else here. I'm not digging the white at the end there. And that looks colored as well. So that's okay. And I'm just looking at the highlights and the shininess of this. There's a lot more of that darker orange. You know, I do have some blues on the blacks. His exoskeleton has some hints of blue. And so I'm gonna give myself some blue as well. I want to go look at this. Part of that is going to be the light, but part of it is also going to be there is some legit blue in there. So let's start by mixing in. Oh, come on. I just want this one. And let's mix in some blue. Okay, and I'm going to throw this way up. Okay, and then we'll come in here. We'll come back, we'll mix in some blue, but I'm going to get pretty dark, and it's actually a little bit purple. A little bit purple in there. And then way dark. Way dark. Darker. Darker. I really like about a 10% brightness when I'm doing my blacks here. We're going to get a really nice complementary color palette with that. Because we're going to get our warms and our cools, and those are going to stand out really nicely. I'm seeing that's straight up white, but here is even a little bit lighter than this. Okay. Yeah, I feel like that's good. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make, and for this I just need 3. I don't think I'm going to do any more than that. And so I will take the darkest black and push that there, and I'm going to grab, I'm going to go here and then here. I'm going to go those 3 stages on any exoskeleton that doesn't have fur and isn't wings. Okay, so now I've got my colors. Okay, and I'm going to grab these three. And I'm going to come into my swatch panel and I will go new swatch color group. I'm going to call that exoskeleton. Selected artwork and click OK. Good. Okay, so that gives me those three, right? And then I'm going to grab these and I want to organize them so that they're kind of in a logical order. The computer is kind of stupid and won't do that for you if you don't do it right. So I'm going to grab another swatch group. I'm going to call this B yellow. Okay, so now, large list view. No, just large view. Large thumbnail view. Yeah. Okay, so now I've got all the colors that I'm going to need in theory. It always seems like I'm missing something. And so I'm actually going to colors. We'll lock that down too. Okay, now let's do an ink. Ink. Unlock our colors and get rid of this dude. Boom, baby. All right. So now I've got my basic sketch here. And I mean, this character isn't going to be on screen for very long. And so I'm not going to change up the sketch too much. I'm seeing some nice legs there. And there's some fur on them. And I'm just kind of looking everywhere to get a general idea of reference. But I think I'm pretty comfortable with the drawing that I've got. The wings are a little weird. Mainly because they don't give me a lot of opportunity to flutter them up and down. But I think I can do that. Yeah, okay. So I might. All right, so now I'm good. So now I'm going to stop talking and I'm just going to go and do this. What you'll see me do is I will start in my ink layer, and then I'm actually going to put other colors underneath the ink layer and fill those in. And you will see me grab these different swatches and do different things like that. And that's pretty much it. Oh, one thing that I wanted to show you that's pretty cool is if you double click on any of these, you'll notice that I made them global. And the cool thing about global swatches is, let me show you. This is going to bug me. This goes here. Stupid computer. And this goes here. Don't do that to me. All right. So let's say that I create something like this. We'll just do his eye, right? So we're going to go eyeball. Okay. And then I'm going to do like highlights like this. Okay, good there. And then I'll do like a little shadow. So I'm going to grab this guy. I'm going to go Shift D to draw inside. And I'm going to come in and go loop, loop. And come around. And we'll grab like that. Okay, and then I'm going to add something to the edge. And so I'm just going to give myself kind of like a blacker outline here. And I need it to be like that. Okay, and so that's going to be like that. All right, so now we have kind of like an eye, right? And I'm going to undo all of this really fast, but watch. So we've got our eye. Okay, and I can actually come in and I can remix different colors. And so let's say that I take this, actually I want it to be pink. Okay, you click preview, and anything that has that swatch applied to it, it will change that color. And so I can come in here and I can go, you know, I'm going to mix HSB. I'm really more interested in this being in the blue scale here. I didn't have anything for that one. And we'll go over to blue here and click preview. Click OK, double click here. I'll go over here and click preview, and you can see that I'm not changing this because it isn't highlighted. I'm changing these up here, and they will change anything that has that applied to it, including gradients and everything else. And so it's pretty sweet that way. And I like that. I like that a lot. So anyway, we're going to get rid of that. Okay. So now I'm going to record me doing this and speed it up. So enjoy. I'll probably put some music underneath. Maybe I'll talk about something. Anyway, before you tune out and don't watch the rest of us, you can catch my stuff at corykerr.com. And tomorrow's the last day of 100 days. I'm going to do something special. I don't know what I'm doing. I should have planned ahead, but I didn't. Anyway, we'll catch you guys later. I'm going to draw this thing. So I'm heading to bed, but that's where I got. I think it looks pretty good. It's a little detailed for what I was going for, but it does look kind of cartoony, which I was also going for. So I'm going to kind of darken up this bottom edge and add some highlights along the top. Then I'll do wings and feet. So and then we'll be done. So that's that. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We will catch you guys tomorrow on day 100. This is day 99. Check out my stuff on Illustrator, on Instagram and Twitter, as I will be probably announcing some giveaways and things and whatnot. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that like button and leave a comment. Stuff like that. I don't know what I want you to leave a comment on, but feel free to comment. Anyway, we'll see if we can finish this and rig it tomorrow, and then we will have multiple characters done. At least I'll have some kind of progress for the 100 days. I'm gonna go to bed because it is quite late. We'll catch you guys later. I'm out.